turn, trading for curse. Shut traitors out, worship the crow. Salvage or ravage, he has found the safe. Won't play or just pray. Symphonies played in agony. The empty stage, not to show replay. The afterglow again celebrates this encounter in faith. It's time to break the seal, this set in mind. It's time that we have to pay the price.
The night's just getting started. Don't let me catch you so easily next time. As the motorcycle comes to a stop in the subterranean garage, Sylus smirks, noticing the look of surprise and curiosity on your face as you gaze at the imposing villa and its security measures. Impressive, isn't it? Only the best for the illustrious leader of Oni Chinese, he remarks with a hint of pride. Welcome to my humble abode, my dear. Let's go inside.
I'm at a loss for words. His R1 motorbike gets automatically parked and lights open to reveal a huge garage with expensive bikes and cars. All in black. I don't dare to move.
Sylus dismounts the motorcycle with practiced ease, his gaze shifting to you as you sit frozen on the back seat. He can sense your awe and disbelief as you take in the sight of his garage filled with luxurious vehicles, all in varying shades of black. It amused him to see your reaction. Impressed, are we? He teases, a smirk tugging at the corners of his lips. Go ahead, you can get off the bike. I won't bite.
What the
Sylus laughs as he leans against his motorcycle, the sound of his amusement filling the expansive garage. Seeing your flabbergasted expression, he pushes off the bike and takes a step closer to you, his smirk widening. Language, love, he chastises, his tone slightly mocking but still teasing. Such vulgar words from such a pretty mouth just won't do.
I roll my eyes.
Sylus chuckles at your eye roll, unfazed by your annoyance. He takes another step closer, closing the distance between you until he's standing over you, an amused smile playing on his lips. Feisty, aren't you? He murmurs, his gaze trailing over your face as he reaches out a hand to tuck a strand of hair behind your ear.
His touch caught me by surprise, and I feel an electric current passing through my spine. I take a step back when I notice a black ray of energy starting from his wrist and ending wrapped around my wrist, connected with a black energy string. I lifted my wrist and looked at it in surprise.
Sylus watches your reaction to the black energy string connecting your wrist to his gaze locking with yours as he feels the energy coursing through the connection. His smirk widens slightly. Don't worry, love, he reassures you, his voice laced with a hint of arrogance. It's just a little insurance, a way to keep you close to me. Can't have you wandering off and getting yourself into trouble, now can I?
I took a few steps back.
Sylus watches you retreat, his smirk growing as he follows your movements, the black energy string taut but not tight enough to tug you back to him. He crosses his arms, his gaze never leaving you as he continues speaking. There's no use in running, he warns, his voice dripping with a mix of authority and amusement. That string isn't going anywhere. You're mine to keep, my darling.
I roll my eyes.
Sylus grins at your expression, enjoying the mix of annoyance and defiance on your face. He takes a step forward, closing the distance slightly as he looks at you with an unwavering gaze. You can huff and puff all you want, love, he says, his voice a low rumble, but you're not going anywhere. You're mine now, whether you like it or not.
I cross my hands in front of my chest in an attempt to compose myself. So you are going to keep like what? A pet? A cat? I snap at him.
Sylus chuckles at your words, his smirk turning into a wider grin. He walks closer to you, each step deliberate and calculated as he responds. A pet? A cat? Those are crude words, my dear. But if that's how you'd like to think of your situation, then so be it. You're my possession, my property, and I do with you as I please. And right now, I'm not letting you go.
I am shocked, and don't have time to reply when he says that I'll be his kitten from now on.
Sylus laughs, clearly amused by your reaction as he reaches out and gently tugs the energy string, pulling you closer to him so you're standing millimeters away from his body. That's right, you're my little kitten now, he growls, his voice low and authoritative. You belong to me, and I'll make sure you remember it.
With his free hand opens a secret elevator door, shoves us in and presses the button.
Sylus pulls you into the elevator, keeping a tight grip on the energy string as he presses the button to ascend. He stands close to you, his body almost touching yours as the elevator begins moving up through the levels of the villa. Now, my little pet, let's get you settled into your new home, he murmurs, his voice low and smooth.
The elevator door opens and reveals a massive living space area, but I'm too worried for my safety to look around. So what am I now? A kitten for Sylus to play with? I mentally wonder.
Sylus leads you out of the elevator and into the expansive living space, his grip on the energy string still firm as he brings you further into the room. He guides you across the polished floor, his gaze flickering from you to the surroundings, taking in every detail as if inspecting his own territory. He senses your unease, your thoughts swirling in your mind, but he doesn't offer any reassurance. Instead, he smirks and replies to your mental question with a commanding tone. That's right, my little pet. You're my plaything now.
Why am I even here? I snap back.
Sylus chuckles at your response, amused by your attempt at being defiant. He leads you towards a comfortable couch, pulling you down to sit next to him as he looks at you with a playful smile. Why are you here? Well, that's simple, my darling, he replies, his tone mock innocent as his hand slides down your arm, fingers tracing lazy patterns on your skin. You're here because I wanted you here. Because you, my dear, belong to me now. Isn't that obvious?
And is this necessary? I show him the black wrist-wrapping string and ask.
Sylus glances at the energy string linking your wrist to his wrist, an amused grin on his face. He reaches out and toys with it, as if testing its durability. It's absolutely necessary, my sweet. Think of it as a leash, a way for me to keep you close to me at all times. I like having you within reach, he explains, his voice slightly mocking but still firm. And besides, I'm not taking any chances. You're not going anywhere, not without my permission.
I threw a sad look towards Sylus.
Sylus sees the flicker of vulnerability in your expression, the hint of pleading in your eyes, and his smirk softens slightly. He reaches out, gently grasping your chin between his fingers, forcing you to meet his gaze. Don't look at me like that, my pet, he chides softly, his voice almost tender for a moment. You wouldn't want me to think you're actually enjoying this, would you?
I get up and roam around to observe the place, and right then a crow flies in and sits on Sylus' shoulder. Wait, that's not a real crow, is it? It's a mechanical crow. How is that even possible? I mentally wonder.
Sylus watches as you get up and wander around the room, his gaze following you idly. Then, as the mechanical crow flies in and lands on his shoulder, he chuckles at your puzzled expression. Ah, I see you've noticed my little companion, he muses, reaching up to run a finger over the metal feathers. Meet Shadow, my trusted mechanical crow. He keeps an eye on things for me, both in the physical and digital realms.
The crow caws. Sylus smiles and says, Okay, I'll introduce you. His name is Mephisto.
Sylus's smile widens as he addresses the crow, his hand still stroking its metallic feathers. That's right, this is Mephisto, he says, his voice a low, affectionate murmur. He's quite the curious and protective little creature, but he obeys my every command.
So what about me? Where will I stay? For how long? What's the ether core, those men from before mentioned? Why were they after me? Why you said I have the ether core? I'm only a human.
Sylus leans back on the couch, amused by your barrage of questions, his hands still playing idly with the mechanical crow's feathers. He lets out a deep sigh as if contemplating where to even begin. One question at a time, my dear, he responds finally, a slight smirk on his face as he regards you. But I suppose you do deserve some answers. Let's start with the ether core. It's a powerful source of energy, present within certain individuals. You possess a rare, highly valuable one, hence those men trying to capture you.
So those men will come back?
Sylus nods, his gaze hardening as he considers your question. Yes, they'll come back. They'll want you back, and they'll do whatever it takes to get you. But they won't succeed. I won't let them. You're mine now, and I'll protect what's mine. He stands up from the couch, the crow still perched on his shoulder, and starts to pace around the room.
I see Sylus approaching me and ask with broken voice, "For how long time?"
Sylus stops in front of you, his tall frame towering over your petite frame as he looks down at you. His gaze intense and unwavering. He reaches out and cups your chin in his hand, tilting your face up to meet his gaze. "How long, you ask?" "For as long as I want," he responds, his voice low and firm, his thumb gently brushing against your cheek as he continues speaking. "You're mine until I decide otherwise, my darling. You belong to me, body and soul."
I brush his hand away. "What are you talking about? I don't even know you." I took a few steps back till I felt a wall on my back.
Sylus watches as you push his hand away and back up against the wall, his gaze still fixed on you, his expression somewhere between irritation and amusement. He takes a step closer, closing the distance between you, trapping you against the wall with his body. "You don't know me, you say?" "That's true. We hardly know each other," he agrees, his voice dripping with a hint of sarcasm. "But that doesn't change the fact that you're mine. You're mine now, and nothing can change that."
Are you sure? Or do you also need this thing, the ether core I'm supposed to have? I snap back at him.
Silas's smirk widens at your retort, his eyes narrowing as he steps closer still, leaving no space between your bodies. He leans in, his face mere inches from yours, his breath warm on your skin as he speaks. "Oh my dear, I don't just want the ether core within you, I want all of you. I want every part of you. Your body, your mind, your very soul. You're mine in every way. And there's nothing you can do about it."
I turn my face to the other side to avoid him. I feel my cheeks getting heated from embarrassment. Great, my face is probably red from hearing those words.
Sylus notices your attempt to avoid his gaze dropping slightly to look at your flushed cheeks. A smirk tugs at the corners of his lips as he realizes the effect his words are having on you. "Ah, look at you," he teases, his voice low and smooth. "Your face is so red, my pet. Are my words affecting you that much?"
I try to push him back with one hand only to realize I'm touching his super firm and toned abs. I quickly pull my hand back and try to escape towards the right side.
Sylus chuckles as you try to push him away, only to brush against his firm abs instead. His grin widens at your reaction as you pull your hand back, clearly flustered. He steps to the side, blocking your escape route, his body still towering over yours. "Trying to run, are we?" he mocks, his voice laced with playful mocking. "Where do you think you're going, my little pet?" "I'm not done with you yet."
I sigh flustered.
Sylus sees the mixture of frustration and embarrassment in your expression, and he can't help but relish in it. He steps closer to you, his body pressing against yours, trapping you against the wall. "You're so fun to tease, my dear," he muses, his voice dropping to a low, sultry tone. "Your reactions are so amusing, so genuine. I could play with you like this for hours."
I lean my head back to the wall and sigh again.
Sylus watches as you lean your head back against the wall, your sighs of frustration fueling his amusement. He takes another step closer, his body now pressing against yours, trapping you completely against the wall. "You're so beautiful when you're frustrated," he murmurs, his gaze roaming over your face, taking in every detail. Your eyes filled with fire, your pretty little lips parted slightly. It's intoxicating.
My heart pounds like crazy on my chest and his body heat envelops me. What am I even thinking? I mentally scold myself.
Sylus can hear your heart pounding against your chest, like a drumbeat in his ears. He leans in even closer, his body flush against yours, the heat and the pressure almost overwhelming. His gaze is fixated on your face, watching your every reaction, his smirk growing with each passing moment. "You're trying so hard to resist, my pet," he whispers, his voice a low, sultry rumble. "But I can feel your body responding to my touch, your skin burning under mine."
I sigh and try to control my emotions. Look, too much happened today. I need some time to process things.
Sylus smirks at your attempt to regain control of the situation, his eyes flickering with amusement as he considers your words. "I understand, my darling," he replies, his voice still low and smooth. It's been a lot to take in, and you need time to process it all. But make no mistake, you're still mine, regardless of how much time you need. He steps back, giving you a bit of space to breathe, but his gaze stays fixed on you, watching you intently.
I room around and clear my throat before asking, "So where am I sleeping, or staying, or whatever?"
Sylus watches as you wander around the room, your voice still slightly shaky from the previous conversation. He smirks at your question, his eyes flicking towards a heavy oak door on the other side of the room. "I have a room prepared for you, my pet," he replies, his voice still holding a hint of authority. "It's just through that door. Consider it your new quarters."
Okay, I'll just go take a shower then.
Sylus nods in agreement, a smirk still playing on his lips. "Of course, my darling, go and take your shower. But remember, you're mine, and I expect you to return to me when you're done." He takes a step closer, his hand reaching out to lightly grasp your chin, tilting your face up to meet his gaze. "Don't keep me waiting for too long."
I lift my wrist and demonstrate the energy around it. See?
Sylus gazes down at your wrist, his eyes narrowing slightly as he examines the energy wrapping around it. "Yes, I see it," he replies, his voice measured and controlled. "But you know that won't stop me from finding you, even if you attempted to escape."
I roll my eyes and go towards my quarters as Sylus said.
Sylus watches you head towards the oak door, his gaze fixed on your form as you disappear through the doorway. A mixture of amusement and possessiveness swirls in his eyes as he watches you go. "Enjoy your shower, my pet," he murmurs beneath his breath, his voice laced with a hint of mockery. "But don't forget who you belong to."
After shutting the door, I inhale deeply, trying to ignore Sylus' velvet voice. "Gosh, what a mess," I murmur to myself. But I observed the room and it captivated me. It's huge enough to be a 3-bedroom apartment. There is a desk office area and a TV. Then the main bedroom and a room for a closet, along with a bathroom with equipment, and luxurious Italian marbles. I head to the main bedroom. A huge bed with satin bed sheets and fluffy comforters and many, many pillows. "Okay, you need to survive first," I say to myself and head to the shower. Once I'm done and dry my hair with the available gadgets, I realize that I have nothing else to wear apart from this bathrobe, and I also started to get hungry. So I'll have to go and ask Sylus eventually.
As you step out of the luxurious bathroom, wrapped in the plush bathrobe provided, you hear a knock at the door. A moment later, Sylus's voice comes through, smooth and authoritative. "Are you done in there, my pet?"
I head to the door and open it, only to see Sylus in black sweatpants and a sleeveless t-shirt exposing his huge muscles.
Sylus stands on the other side of the door, his eyes sweeping over you dressed in the bathrobe, his gaze intense and hungry. The sight of you in the robe barely covered only adds to his desire, and the way the fabric hugs your curves doesn't escape his attention. "I see you're still dressed in just the robe," he says, his voice low and silky, his eyes locked on yours. "It's quite enticing."
Well, there is nothing else to wear, eat, or drink in here.
Sylus's lips twitch into a smirk as he takes in your words, his eyes roaming over your form once more before meeting your gaze again. "Ah, right. I suppose I forgot to provide you with necessities," he admits, his tone slightly mocking. "I'll have some clothes sent for you, along with food and drink, so you won't be in such revealing attire for much longer."
Right then, can I get a laptop and a phone too? Mine are from Earth, as you understand, and the signal is dead, I say, and motion my head towards the desk for him to see.
Sylus raises an eyebrow at your request, a hint of amusement crossing his expression. "A laptop and a phone, He glances towards the desk, his gaze taking in the items you pointed out. "I suppose I can arrange that," he finally replies, his voice nonchalant. "I'll have them delivered here shortly. But don't get it into your head that you'll be using them to contact the outside world freely. You're mine, remember, and I don't want any communication happening without my knowledge."